Rough week one for the Clemson Tigers taking on Georgia. Lose that one 34-3 after just trailing 6-0 at halftime. We'll see what they've got in store for an App State team coming in at 1-0. We got Steve Merrill on the line, as we always do, folks. So it's not just here on the Clemson channel, but on all the team channels here at the Voice of College Football. Steve provides us with the wagering advice for the week and all the big games. We got App State and Clemson. Steve, a rough one for Clemson. They're going to be looking to bounce back. Of course, they're either going to be lacking confidence. That could be one lean, or they could be raving mad and ready to take it out on an App State team that is a 17-point dog.
Yeah, there's always two ways to look at this, right? It's like they're going to be focused. They're not going to take anyone for granted because they're coming off a loss. But then again, could there be a hangover from the loss? And the hangover is kind of what concerns me more after these big games. And, once again, Clemson could win this game and maybe not win by more than 17. First, let's look at our simulation. I do 10,000 games simulated for every game on the board every week in college football. On average, I've got Clemson winning by 19. So this line actually is discounted a bit. And 17 is a very key number. 18 is a little bit of a key number as well. You can get some margins that land on 18 also. So the difference between my projection of a 19-point win and 17 does give us a little bit of line value with Clemson. I am a bit concerned about the hangover effect, but let's keep in mind they were a substantial underdog of almost 2 touchdowns last week. They didn't expect to go beat Georgia. They might have liked to beat Georgia, but they didn't expect to do it. And they lost to who I consider the best team in college football, really for the last 3 years plus. They didn't win the national title last year, even though they were the best team all season long, because they didn't get to play in it, being the 5th team looking out on that old 4-team playoff. They won the national title the 2 years before that. So I don't think big picture it hurts Clemson to lose to Georgia. Yes, 34-3 wasn't pretty, but you dig into the box score, it was actually a more competitive game than that. They held the Bulldogs to 169 rushing yards. Yes, the 278 passing, maybe it wasn't all that competitive, but probably a little closer than a 34-3 final would indicate. I think Clemson does come focused this week. I think they realize the loss last week does not hurt them. The ACC title is still in reach. And let's not forget, Florida State is now 0-2 in the conference. That's a huge benefit for Clemson because FSU, along with Miami of Florida, were probably considered the 2 biggest competition, the 2 biggest competitors for that ACC title. I think Clemson realizes they got plenty to play for here. Even though this is a non-conference game, I think they come out and make a statement, especially being their home opener.
Steve, I went scrambling for the exact numbers, knowing what I was about to see. We know that App State's one of the elites of the G5, and they play the Power 4 extremely tough. Last year, 19-point dog against North Carolina, lost by 6 in overtime. The season before, 2-point dog against North Carolina. They actually had a push in that game, 63-61. 18-point dog against Texas A&M. They won the game outright by 3. Miami of Florida the year before in 2021, 9-point underdog. They only lose by 2. They beat North Carolina 2 seasons before that. Of course, 2020, no out-of-conference games. So this is an App State team and a program that has a lot of pride in taking on the power conference teams.
Yeah, the last 2 seasons is Sean Clark's 5th year, but the last 2 seasons alone, they're 4-1 against the spread as a road dog. So that's another thing that gives you pause on this game, even though the line maybe is a little bit cheaper than my projection. As App State has been a very dangerous underdog. And we all remember when it started, Mark, it started that Michigan game, right? A decade or 2 ago. It was one of the bigger upsets ever in college football. So it could go both ways. I think in a way, though, that might actually keep Clemson focused and help them rebound off that possible hangover because even though it's a mid-major, they know it's a powerhouse program that could be dangerous. So I think Clemson comes focused for that reason.
Folks, Steve's at Wager Talk every day. So wagertalk.com is the place to be to track all of Steve's pick across all the sports. And then, of course, here at the Voice of College Football, check out all the team channels because Steve covers all the big games for us. Plus, the Under the Radar selection, 22-5, going on 3 seasons now. Learn more about that right now. College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk, 6 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Deace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.